people, welcome once again to the Party of One podcast, the actual play RPG podcast where the gaming table is always set for two. I'm your host as always, Jeff Stormer. This week on the show, I'm joined by Aaron Joy for a game of marvelous mutations and merry musicians. Aaron is the writer and narrator of Even If It Kills Me, a narrative documentary podcast chronicling the lives of John, Ryan, Mac, and Pete as they set off across the country to try and make it as rock stars in the bygone era of the 2000s. Over the course of 6 episodes, Aaron documents his time on the road with his friends as they flirt with stardom through the 2000s. This is a beautiful and wonderful, tiny little story that is, if I can say so, painfully relatable. It is a richly realized and beautiful specific story of the all-too-human experience of trying to make it as an artist. You can find more information about the show at evenifitKillsMePodcast.com or check the show notes for more information. Marvelous Mutations and Merry Musicians is a game about the world after the apocalypse and the world after that. What once were post-apocalyptic wastelands are now once again filled with life. Weird ruins dot the landscape, full of ancient mysteries and abandoned biotech marvels whose purpose was forever lost. There is no magic, there are no wars, there is only music and a whole world to play to. This is a game about a band of traveling mutant musicians who go from town to town performing concerts and doing whatever it is they like to do beside that. I really loved playing this game. It's got, for one thing, you'll hear it on the episode, some of my favorite, weird mutant generators that I've played with in a very, very long time. And in terms of just, creating a world and a vibe and a sandbox for you to play in, I think this game does that immaculately. You can find more information about the game at wendiy, that is wendiy.itch.io, or check the show notes for more information. Now, before we dive in, we got some Patreon backers to thank. Thank you to Farius, thank you to Keegan EXE, thank you to Zero for your support on Patreon. All of that support helps us to do stuff. It helps us to make the show, it helps us to make games. All of that stuff is supported through the Patreon, and Patreon backers get cool access to bonus content like early releases of episodes, bonus shows, weird side podcasts that I make with my friends. You get a bunch of cool stuff. It's sort of a creative playground for me, and you can access all of that at patreon.com/JeffStormer. And with all that said, let's go ahead and throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me. Thanks, future me. I am so excited. I have genuinely really been looking forward to this recording because I think it's going to be something really wonderful and special. I'm sitting down today with Aaron Joy. Aaron, thank you so much for coming on Party of One.
Oh my God, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I'm so stoked for this game today. I think this is going to be the absolute best. Before we dive into that, though, why don't you take a moment, let our lovely listeners at home know about anything you've got going on that you might want them to know about.
Oh my goodness. Well, this is my first time doing anything like this. So I just finished a podcast. I wrote and narrated a podcast called Even If It Kills Me, which is about my friend's band trying to make it back in the 2000s and trying to navigate the tech revolution and just the change in social media and everything that was happening back then. And I'm really excited to just start sharing it with everybody. I've been working on it for 4 years now.
It's beautiful is the thing.
Thank you.
There's something really magic. I've been listening to it since we started planning this episode, and it's there. You capture such a relatable experience, right? There is that energy of I think, and maybe that's colored by the fact that I am an independent artist making it, but there's something so relatable to not just the experience of chasing that, but also you have this wonderful description of using someone else's shampoo and
yes.
that
Yes.
experience of the sort of what I would describe as the grimy everyday parts of being somebody chasing that creative dream is so immensely you evoke it so well, and it is also just so immensely immediately relatable is how I will describe it.
Thank you. Yeah, we were, when I first started kind of tackling this project or this idea of telling this story, we always wanted to make sure that we left the band anonymous because we didn't want to make it a podcast that was just about music or only people that have been in bands could relate to. Because like you said, this idea of just chasing that dream it's very relatable. and we wanted to make sure that it was like people could just like connect to it and go, oh yeah, I even if whatever they were pursuing was not music, if it was art or becoming a teacher or whatever, the ups and downs are always the same.
It's and I think that really comes across in the show itself, and I think that is what that's what really captured my imagination as I was listening was like it. There's just this real element of like, yeah, I have only been a musician for a few months in college from a band that has been thoroughly wiped from the internet. But like that experience of like, yeah, but like nonetheless, that experience of being like, yeah, I was fucking there for that. Like I've been there, like is so real.
Yeah. And once that question came to me of like using a stranger shampoo, that was such an oddly specific thing that I genuinely think that not a lot of people, even though not a lot of people have experienced that, that's like something that's like, oh yeah, wait a minute. What? Why would you ever use a stranger shampoo? Where are you getting the stranger shampoo from?
It's so like, it's just so, it is the type of thing where you have that immediate response of like, why would that be a thing? And then like it's the podcaster in me and the theater kid in me is immediately like, yeah, no, it is the second you reach for that person's shampoo and they're out, you're like, yeah, there's something to this that like it hit me in the gut is how I will describe it.
There was one thing that we left out, that just because what happens, you edit stuff.
Yeah.
Another way to start that episode, I wanted to ask the question, have you ever taken a shower with a can of water? Because in that summer tour, which remained nameless, but it was pretty obvious as to what tour it was, they had a thing called tour water, which is now actually, you can buy it in the stores. And we got in trouble because our bus was all using this canned water to shower with every day. And they said, you can't use that to shower. We have showers. And we're like, all right, fine. This is nice and cold water. It's fresh.
It's fresh cold water. And like, I'm gonna use it. Like,
we just pour it on ourselves in between the buses.
Sure, because this is A, that's the space that you have that is your space, and B, like you've only got a couple minutes. I'm gonna dump a glass of water on myself. It's I could talk about this all day, but we do have a game to play, so let's go ahead.
Yes.
I am so excited. We are playing. Let me get the exact title of it so that I don't mess this up. This is my note. This is heavily edited. So the game we are playing today is Marvelous Mutations and Merry Musicians, a game about post-apocalyptic musicians traveling the once wastelands. I'm so stoked for this. Let me ask you this. What is it about this game that's got you excited? Of the games that I sort of pitched to you, why this game? Yeah. What are you bringing to the table for the game that we're playing today?
It obviously jumped out to me because the idea of a band of a literal band of mutants roaming the apocalypse as musicians was just like, well, that's kind of what it felt like.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
When we were out there, or a bunch of mutants roaming an apocalyptic wasteland. We could barely afford fuel and had nowhere to sleep, and we were relying on the nice, the neighborly people around us. So it just was like, yeah, I think I could get with this. And I love apocalyptic stuff. I love all that post-apocalyptic. I played a ton of Fallout.
Oh my God, I could talk about Fallout all day. Let me ask you, which Fallout is your Fallout?
4.
Okay.
I never, and I know it's like sacrilege, I never played New Vegas.
Sure.
I've always wanted to. I played a little bit of 3. I played 76, but 4. Oh my gosh! Just the timing of it and where I was in my life, I had a lot of time to play video games, and I did.
I am specifically a Fallout old head. Fallout 2 was my
Oh no way! That's
the
great.
Defining that was my that was my game when I was when that was new and it was out. Like, I remember all of my friends got really into Fallout 2, and I remember booting it up for the first time, and the experience of it just captured. And so that has always kind of been my benchmark for post-apocalyptic worlds, and Fallout in general, I think hits that vibe of and I think it's true to this game as well, that vibe of like people are weird now and people are going to continue to be weird, and like there's often this sort of underlying kindness that I think kind of also speaks to why I'm excited about this game, of like we're all kind of surfing through various degrees of shit situations together, but
Right.
like at least we can form our little colonies where we hang, like where we are like friendly with one another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like
for sure.
I it's on my list to watch. I have not watched it yet, but like I know from what I remember, what I've read of the book, Station 11, that sense of like you are an artist troupe after the apocalypse, like just, you know, and I think like it's again, it's that artist in me that speaks to me, that experience of like the world as we know it is no more, but like we still have art and stories and that kind of thing. Is like that to me is that hits me in the gut and hits me in the heart.
Yeah, no, me too. You know, it's like, because you think about all the ancient artwork that we still have miraculously, you know, this old stuff that's like music's been around forever.
Like as long as people have been able to like process it, people have been like, banging on cave walls, and like what we have, like the art that we have is like 1% of like everything that was made across history. And so like and like there's kind of a beauty in that at the same time of like there is so much that there were so many stories that were told for a moment and are gone, but like there's still nonetheless a beauty in that. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I totally agree. Agree.
So with all that said, talk to us. You've written a character. The game includes some truly, I'm going to read the sort of short pitch of the game because I think it's incredible. And then I will have you talk through the weird mutant that you've created using the game's truly breathtaking collection of weird mutation tables for creating post-apocalyptic musicians.
So I would like to add using that table because I didn't get into that. I kind of went rogue.
Sure.
And I thought maybe we could add some.
That sounds
together.
Great. I love that.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
All right, cool. Okay. Because I saw that table and I was like, whoa, I'm going to need some help.
Let's do it.
I need the professional to come in and guide me.
That is my job. So the short pitch of the game, the apocalypse was long, long ago. So long that no one even remembers it happened. What once were post-apocalyptic wastelands are now once again filled with life. Weird ruins dot the landscape, full of ancient mysteries and abandoned biotech marvels whose purpose was forever lost. Some of them lead to places that defy everything you think of as the laws of nature. People, not people, and once people roam the distorted landscape between populated areas, some friendly, some lonely, some dangerous, some boring. But the thing that defines all of these people is there is music. There is no magic, no wars, but there is music and a whole world to play to. And so you have created a person or a not person or an almost person.
I want the not person.
Hell yeah. I'm so excited. Talk to us about who your post-apocalyptic mutant musician is.
Okay. So I went, because I used to play bass. So I went with a bass player. Okay. So I thought, all right, bass player. And I was thinking about some of my favorite bass players, you know, growing up, you know, listened to The Who a lot. You know, my dad was a big Who fan, and John Entwistle, just a phenomenal bass player, but he always looked bored on stage.
Sure.
And meanwhile, if you're familiar with The Who, Pete Townsend, Roger Daltrey, those guys just went nuts.
They're thrashing about, and Whistle's kind of there and it's so funny because he's such a defining, like his work is such a defining like bass riff stuff, and yet he's just on stage and you're like, yeah, you know,
just always taking deep breaths, just looking around, just like, yeah, there they go again. There's the boys.
Keith Moon is behind him hitting things harder than anyone has ever hit something, and he's just like, you know, happy to be here, everybody.
So he was kind of an inspiration. So this character has like flawless metronomic rhythm. So he's got this incredible rhythm that can be used to kind of hypnotize or put to sleep if they're in some sort of situation where there's like danger. So he starts to lull people, but he can also he's capable of playing two different tempos at once, which as a musician trying to listen to two different pieces of music at the same time is like nauseating.
Yeah. Gives you a headache.
It just really is but some people can tune it out. I have no idea how those people do it. But but that was kind of his like offensive thing. You know, it's like he's able to induce this like nausea vomiting because he can just bust out these like 2 different tempos.
I love
I don't
that.
know
I
how,
adore that.
but and then throughout this journey, I think he should lose a couple of fingers.
Sure, absolutely.
You know, because taking inspiration from the Dark Tower, which absolutely love that whole thing with Roland and the gunslinger. If you're familiar with that, he loses a couple of fingers early on in the story, and you're like, well, how is a gunslinger going to use his gun without his shooting fingers? So it's like it's a very cool, just kind of obstacle to overcome.
I love that.
He's a very picky eater. He's not snobby. He's just picky, like me. I'm a very picky eater. So he's kind of, you know, he's not. Whenever there's food in the, he's like, I really don't want to eat.
Sure.
You know, he's always just like, whatever, we're gonna figure it out.
Picky eater
quick.
solidarity. I get it.
Yeah, very stubborn. You know, very stubborn guy. Now the names, I was just all over the place with this. I don't know. I because I was thinking John Entwistle, but then I was thinking of Tron Bentwistle.
Tron Bentwistle is the thing is like it's very good is the thing. Like it's direct as an homage, but like I feel like Tron Bentwistle sounds like an apocalyptic mutant is the thing, and so I feel like it's right on the money.
Okay, good, because that was my first one. I have some other ones. Clay Cesspool.
Oh, Clay Cesspool. Fuck. I know I just talked about how much I like Trons, but I think I need to insist on Clay Cesspool because I think Clay
Cesspool's maybe he's out there. Maybe he's he's got parts. He's a guy out there we run across.
I'm gonna hold on to Clay Cesspool because I it's one of those you hear it and you're like, I'm gonna start messing with this. All right, so you mentioned rolling on some tables, and and so let's find out like what is weird about your character. There is a D100 table of like weird mutations, and I'm gonna roll. If you also let's both roll just to get a couple mutations on here. That is a 51. What does the 51 give us? Oh, that's I like it. What do your useless insect like wings look like?
Oh man, they're one of them's busted.
Sure.
The right one. The right one's a little crooked. I fell at one point and it broke. And the left one just hangs out. They're just like little fly wings, you know.
Love it.
Average,
the visual
busted.
The visual that I get is that the right one is like has the visual of a fly wing taped up with like medical tape is extremely funny, and I think that's that to me is the vibe. So what roll me a D100 from 1 to 100 and tell me what number you get.
6.
All right, we are here. Okay, so I love that your character lost some fingers on account of you also had 17 extra fingers and toes. That's very fun. That's very satisfying.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. I probably was a couple of pages out. I got the PDF here. Okay.
That's great.
Oh my god. All right. Do we roll more? Should we roll more?
Sure. If you want to do one more, we'll do one more
let's do
each.
One more. Let's do one more. 39.
39. Independently moving eyes.
Oh, that's a shame.
And
well, I guess that would help with the 2 tempos.
That's kind of like there's something really interesting and like there's a great symmetry there of like almost like processing 2 sensory sensations at once.
Gosh.
And this one doesn't contribute anything, but like there is a how have you styled your rooster like comb?
Oh my lord. Slick back. Just slick back. Trying not. I don't want it to be too high up in there. I'm trying to hide it, to be honest.
I like that.
Yes.
Shades of oh lord, shades of the rooster from Rockadoodle. Feels great.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I love this. So let's talk a little bit about. We have a couple other things to talk about. We're going to talk about like what is something that your character wants, and then we're going to break that down into some beats, and then we've got some songs for you to think about as we start to like describe what chasing after this thing. So normally we would create two things that your character wants and one thing that they need. So like, what is something that your character wants? Wants are short-term goals, and needs are like long-term things that they want to achieve over time. So like, what is something that your character wants here and now?
He just wants to play music. Like, he doesn't want to be bothered, because I feel like there's something in the long term that he needs to deal with that he's not dealing with yet.
I like that. All right.
But that's just a little bit of like, he also, he wants to constantly be a better bass player, because I think he needs to be the best.
I like that.
For something, I'm not sure what yet, but we might discover it, I guess, along the way.
Trying to decide. So a structural thing about the game is that like your wants and needs are broken down into beats. So like every like want and need is functionally like 4 sort of like objectives, for lack of a better way to put it. And so I'm trying to decide like, I think the 4 objectives for me, like the first 2 I feel like are easy, which are find a show and then get booked. And I'm trying to decide what 3, one of the 2 should be like actually playing the show, but I don't know if I want that to be 3 or 4. Is there something that happens after you play the show that we want to play out?
Yeah, there's got to be like, because after the show, you always, you're hungry, right? These guys got to
get something to eat. Got to get
something to eat, but it is never that simple.
There it is. Okay, there's our 4 beats. Find and play a great gig.
Right.
You're going to find a show. You're going to get booked at the show. You're going to play the gig, and then you're going to get something to eat afterwards.
And it's never that easy.
It will not in this story be that easy. As a spoiler. So the final thing for you to think about, and like I am going to have you roll 3 20-sided dice, and I'll describe to you 3 songs that Tron knows that you can sit and think about, and like what makes them magic and sort of like what happens when you play them. So roll me a 20-sided dice.
Okay, 3. Let me see. I'm rolling you out 20. I gotta do it. I got it digital, so
that's perfect.
All right, so I gotta roll a D. Okay, ready? Mm-hmm. I got an 8.
8. You feel you have a song so relatable you can match its tempo to the heart rate of any animal. Once in sync, you can make it go up or down as you please. That is so perfect for like the sort of abilities that you've already described.
That's amazing.
Dice are magic sometimes. Sometimes it just lines up that way. I'm so thrilled.
Love it. That's so okay. This is so cool because there's a little tangent. I'm a total Fish head. The band Fish. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love Fish, and they have this thing, and there's all these stories within their songs and stuff. And one of them, they talk about the vibration of life, which is 7 beats per second, apparently, according to their lore. And
I love that.
I dropped that into the podcast. I have all these little pop culture references in there, but yeah, something like that. Like, so I love that. Okay. So this guy can tune into the vibration of life and just like what's his name from Captain Planet? Heart.
Yep. Like the heart. Exactly. Like the heart ring. That feels great.
I love it.
Give me a second D20 for another one of your songs.
All right, here we go. Ready? And ooh, 19.
19. This song is so warm, it makes anyone that listens think you're an old friend. That's juicy. These are good prompts, is the thing. Man, that's juicy.
Good. That's good.
And then give me one more.
All right. Ooh, 13.
13. The song is so goth, it can make all the light around you fade away while you play, even if you're outdoors.
That's cool.
That's great. All right, so these are the songs that like you have in your back pocket. We can talk about like what they sound like and how you play them in play, but like For now, we've got a pretty clear picture, which is that Tron Brentwhistle needs to find a show. You need to get booked.
Yes.
I think that we open. I'm gonna flip to. I'm gonna flip. There's some again. So much of this game is just really great tables. I'm gonna start out by rolling two 20-sided dice here, just to see where we start out. What's the starting scene? Where do you find yourself when you're starting to look for your next gig? 12. You are on a okay, nice, interesting.
Oh, I'm excited.
You are on a steam powered like Zeppelin airship that is jam packed with people. I rolled the results inundated ship, and so like the visual of like a big crowded like steam powered Zeppelin is what immediately comes to mind. So like, what's the vibe of this ship? Do you think this is a cruise ship? Is this like is this like people making a trip or a journey? Like what's the vibe? What pops into your head?
This is some sort of gala. It's some sort of like hoity-toity event for the elite.
I like that. So how does Tron feel when you're in that space? Like we get to see so many of like the elite of a post-apocalyptic world, right? These are people, we see like shining metallic cyborgs and like somebody with a giraffe neck, but like it's creating the visual of one of those old New Yorker drawings where they're just up and they've got the glasses. And like how is Tron feeling when you're in this particular space?
Man, it's tough. He's torn because it reminds him of like his upbringing, which was this very kind of hoity-toity thing, which he didn't really agree with. Because he just wanted to play music, and like he knew how important it was, and he felt as though that music is this connection to the elders and to the old, and like even though his grandparents were his elders, they didn't seem like it. They were just so focused on themselves and just being the best, and he was just like, well, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna play some music. And now he's finding himself torn because he's getting these good gigs, he's making good money or credits or bottle caps or whatever, and
I'm so like, it's the Fallout in me that feels like it's got right? it's so bottle caps, it's bottle caps and it's junk and it's barter. It's like
or what if it could be like guitar picks
fucking rips. That's great,
right? Like because it's music's important, guitar picks are needed. You got the plastic ones, you got the harder ones,
the ones with the like designs on them. There's ones and like, I imagine immediately is like, this is generations and generations after everything that you and I know is long since dead. So like a guitar pick with a Mickey Mouse face on it, like that's a symbol. Bingo. That's a symbol and a mythic creature from another world, and like no one knows what that is. So like all of those little designs that are on all of those little guitar picks have all of this added like meaning and story to them that like, that's fucking great. That's good stuff.
So they're able to like, they have a normal payment system, and then they also have these like, these guitar picks that are worth, a lot, almost like getting like a bar of gold or something nowadays, or like a gem.
I love that.
Yeah, but but Tron Brentwhistle is he's been out of shape up there in the steampunk Zeppelin. He's like, man, I just can't wait for this gig to be over with, to be honest.
You have been like, how does Tron feel as a bass player? How comfortable is Tron playing the standing bass? Because like I imagined that you would.
Oh, he hates it. It's do you know how much room that takes up?
It's huge. I mean, it is colossal.
I don't have to carry it anymore because, when the anti-gravity pads, all that stuff, it's easy. It just floats around, but hey, it's still big.
and
I don't
and
like it.
like you have been hired like on this gig. They are paying you like I'm gonna say like 3 guitar picks, which is like
Yeah.
good payday to
Yeah.
play. But when you arrived, they provided you with like this, because this is a hoity-toity like lounge singer type vibe. Like this is like you are playing, a wedding band type vibe. So they have
Yep.
provided you got there with your bass. Talk to me about how you've personalized your bass. Like, what does Tron's bass look like?
And is this, of course, this is the upright one because
No, this is like your regular rock bass. They have provided you with
oh,
like a very stuffy standing bass to play at this
ooh,
event.
oh, okay. Oh, because he had like all these fingers and these two different eyeballs going in different directions. I could imagine it being just like almost like a sleek, just blade of something. I don't even
Oh,
know.
that's
Like a
yeah.
yeah.
It's something like what we hear that what kind of jumps out to me is the idea of like playing a bit like almost the bass equivalent of like one of the like standing guitars where you pluck at the but like it's long and it's
Yeah.
sleek and like it's designed to be played with 17 fingers and like
Right.
in two distinct places at once, in the way that Tron kind of occupies 2 places at
Yeah.
once.
And it's made of some flexible something that
Yeah.
allows it to like, it's almost like there's two different what am I trying to say? I don't even know what they're called, but like headstocks,
I know what
how
you
where
mean.
you
I know
t-
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's great. You arrive with this like so distinctive like base that is so specifically designed, like designed and customized for you, and they plunk like the oldest, stuffiest, dustiest standing bass in front of you to be like, no, we're playing classical swing music, like for
It's
people
like,
to dance at during the gala.
oh, he's not happy. It's like, why would I have? I had to charge this thing up. I brought this bass all the way here. It's not easy. It's not an easy thing.
I love it. You have just finished playing and you are greeted. You mentioned that this was like your upbringing. You are
Yeah.
greeted by an old friend. I've
Oh,
rolled on a couple. I've like an old friend from like the
yeah.
hoity-toity days. I've rolled
Who is it? Oh
on the
no.
NPC tables in the game. It is they are a zombie. There's no other way to describe it. They are a zombie.
I knew
Um,
it.
they are like they have a large margarita glass in hand, or like a cocktail glass, like a martini glass,
Of
and
course.
like they are like they keep like reattaching and detaching their lower jaw to like chat with people, and then pour some like martini down their throat and then reattach it, and like what is a detail? Give me a detail about this person. Their name is
I know who it is. That's Jocko.
Jocko. Great.
That's
Give me a
Jocko.
detail about Jocko that you remember from your time as
He
friend.
oh my god. I don't know if you call him a friend. He was like one of those people that you first meet when you get to school,
Mm-hmm.
and you just so happen to have a last name that's alphabetically next to
Great.
yours,
Yep.
and you're like, "Oh, I'm your friend now." And then years go by, and it turns out they're a zombie.
Yep.
And you didn't know that. They didn't know it, but people evolve, people change, not people, other people, whatever. Yeah, and the thing of it is too, because was way, way older than me.
Sure.
Way older. So he knew all of my, older siblings and like everybody that was around. And
you're talking to a third sibling right now. That's rough. That's rough. That's a real rough vibe when somebody rolls up like, yeah, I know I know everybody else in your family. That's a bad vibe.
Yeah. And it's, he just like, oh, what have you been up to? I see you're still playing music. Like it's a bad thing. Like music isn't the most important thing.
And
I just
comes up to you. That cannot be Tron Brent Whistle. That I must be the radiation baked into this martini must be affecting my
No,
eyesight.
nope, nope. Unfortunately, it is me. I'm right
I
here.
am blown away. This is I never thought I would find such a treasure in the skies. My friend, how are you? It has been too long. Uh
Yeah, how long? It's been at least 10 years.
oh, 10 years. How does time? I guess life on the road is just like that. And he you know,
Yeah.
grabs from a plate a little like it's like a like some kind of, weird post-apoc, like it's like a bug or something, pops into his
Oh,
mouth, chomps on it. I oh,
I see you're still eating bugs.
I mean, delicacy is delicacy. You've got to,
Mm.
I mean, these are mass produced. You can tell they've been grown in a vat, but like, you take what you can get.
Right. I look, to be honest, this is kind of I've been to better galas, just between me and you.
I'm going to ask you for a roll right now. I'm going to tell you what that roll is for. This is going to be our first time rolling dice.
Okay.
Oh, actually, but before we do that, I realize I've got to ask you if you have designed some character traits. You've got some things that you can, some tags you can assign to your character to describe who your character is in case you want to add things or subtract things to your character sheet.
Well, let's add some
All
right
right,
now.
great.
I love it.
You're
Let's
going to
do it.
add 2 tags for each of the following verbs. 2 things that significantly define your character beyond being a musician, such as party lover, amateur taxidermist, poet, emo. 2 things that like your character is. What are 2 sort of inherent qualities that you want are important to Tron as a person?
And it starts with B.
The B is just sort of a general category of like things that, the verb is be, so like things that your character is, qualities,
Oh,
party lover, poet, things that like are essential to your character's like personality.
you know, quiet,
Quiet, love it.
but also a partier.
That feels good. Those are 2 very good
Like reserved, but
cuts loose.
knows
Love that.
knows when to, and then but also unfortunately doesn't know when to stop.
Sure. The nice thing about the nice thing about these tags is like they're going to play 2 functional roles in the game. Like you can use them to like make rolling a little bit easier when it falls into your skill set. So like when you need to do something quietly or like when you need to like make a connection at a party, you'll roll a little bit better. Or when I sense that like your tags are going to get you in trouble, I'll have you roll a little bit worse to cause problems.
Okay.
So 2 things that your character has beyond your musical instrument. What are 2 things that your character has on their person?
Oh goodness, some sort of like a MP3 player, like a personal music device.
Love that.
Something, because it's just always music playing. Just gotta, yeah.
And what's
and something else. Oh,
yeah.
Like besides the obvious, like clothes and things like that. Oh gosh, what else?
Examples are like my mother's sword, a secret letter, a pair of pet iguanas, X-ray specs.
Yeah, I was gonna say a special, like a really nice pair of sunglasses that's
great.
very, very important to him. That I don't know, they look like like old school
Ray-Bans,
like Ray-Bans, like Tom Cruise Top Gun stuff, where it's like these came from a special place that recreated these styles from thousands of years ago. Yeah,
and
they're specially built for his 2 roaming eyeballs.
Oh, that's fun. I like that detail. Finally, 2 things that your character does especially well beyond music, such as fixing things, kung fu fighting, knowing about birds.
I would say he's good at tech, because before I went out on the road, I spent 12 years working as a what the company called a genius. If you would be able to, I don't want to say too much, but I worked for the fruit stand for 12 years, fixing their computers.
You worked in the proverbial banana stand, sure.
Yes, and there is always money there. So yeah, he's good at like tech stuff. So like if like the equipment breaks
Mhm.
down, he can't, like if the van or whatever vehicle he's in, he's doomed because never bothered to learn how to even drive standard.
Sure. And what's
Which is
one
a
other
problem.
thing? What's one other thing that you do well?
Ooh. Oh gosh. He's a great, even though he doesn't know how to fix the vehicles, he's a great driver.
Great.
Great navigator. Like, just you need somebody to just get you there.
That's so real. Is the thing is that like all of the best drivers that I have like ridden with, consistently, if you ask like if the car breaks down, consistently those are the last people that I turn to, and I'm like, because I'm like, you don't know, you
Right.
you can like you can get me where I'm going a half hour early, but like if we have blow out a tire, I'm calling AAA.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So, what's going to happen is you're going to roll 2d6. But in this instance, because you are a partier and because you're like making a connection at a party, I'm going to have you roll 3d6 and take the two highest results.
Okay. Get the D6. Oh, it's just like a regular die. Shoot.
So yeah, that's your basic standard die.
That's a regular die. That's funny. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's the first one. Oh, a 1. Oh, my Lord. Okay, we got 1. Next roll. Is it snake eyes? Am I really getting snake eyes right now?
All right, well, you got one more.
Okay, I rolled 3. I rolled 1, and 1.
That's incredible. I'm blown away by this.
And I wanted to make sure it wasn't broken. Then I clicked it again, and then I got a 6. So yeah, I just did 1,
Okay,
1, and 1.
great. On a 6 or less, that is a failure with disastrous or unexpected consequences.
Oh no.
And what this I think looks like is you are talking about how bad this show is. And like Jocko is like commiserating with you. He's like, yeah, I don't know. These airship galas, you know, you've been to one of them, you've been to all of them. And at that moment, let me grab a D20 to make a weird apocalypse weirdo.
Oh no.
Is 7, 3, great. At that moment, so what happens is Jocko starts to say to you, in fact, if you're interested, I happen to know. And that's when the drink gets thrown in his face because like an oversized sort of like Thundercat looking cat person walks up and like throws a drink into Jocko's face, like, I thought I told you never to show your face here again. And now there is, so like your failure in this instance is that you know that there is a show. You know that there is a show that is cool enough that Jocko is like not telling everyone about it, but that like if you cannot resolve this moment of like weird rich person drama, you will not find out about the show.
Oh man. Okay. Well, first of all, I would want to know what. Can we just take a moment and find out, Jocko? Do you have anything to tell me? Is there a reason why you just got a drink thrown in your face? Who is this Thundercat person? Very
Jocko,
very nice looking Thundercat.
They specifically this Thundercat. He is like, imagine if you took a Thundercat head and put it on top of a He-Man action figure body. So like that cartoonishly buff with the sort of like leather straps. Jocko like trying to calm this down, is trying to get a word in of like, well, I maybe, you know, again, parties are parties, things get said. I don't
look it.
And
oh my gosh. To be honest, I only know Jocko because of the alphabet, and I'm just here to play. And between me and you, I don't really care what happens to him. If he gets kicked out, he's out. That's fine with me. His jaw keeps falling off.
He's holding the jaw in place to like almost. It's almost like he's holding the jaw in place. This cat
And he
person,
knows better.
and I
He
think
knows
like
better.
I think I'm gonna say like, what do you do when this weirdly buff cat person starts to get into your face because you are in Converse? Like the second that you're like, "Hey, Jocko, what did you do?" The cat person's kind of like, "Back off! This isn't about you. This is between us. You can back up. You can back up. You can back up."
I'm backing up. I'm gonna go over here by my gigantic base. I'm just chilling.
I think this is also a roll. And I'm going to see if I think also roll me 3d6 again, take the two highest results because I think you're being quiet here. Like this is you being quiet and like unobtrusive.
All right, so I got a 5 and a 6.
Okay. That is a 10 or better is a complete success. How do you manage to like quietly and unobtrusively like disarm this situation? Like you back up. What happens next that allows you to like disarm the situation?
At this point, I like because I'm so nervous, I just start playing.
Oh, wonderful.
And I just start playing, and I'm playing my old melody, just trying to calm the situation down.
And the second that your fingers touch the strings, like everything, like it has immediately gotten louder. Other people are starting to shout, like a crowd is starting to gather, and the second that your fingers hit the strings, it just calms down.
Yeah, because and this now in my mind here the at least the performance was over with, right, for the big upright bass, and at this point it's like when I get out that other fancy bass, the one that was built for me. So now it's like, okay, now check this out. And this is when I, start playing the melody and everyone's like, oh, this is fantastic.
And and you witnessed like in a way that is sort of uniquely suited to these dice rolls, you watch like you start playing and you hit that second tempo for a second, and you watch this cat person's ear, like this cat man's ears like split, like it almost looks like he's getting mad, but like you can tell like he's keyed into both tempos and is just kind of like bobbing back and forth, almost like his body is pulling him towards both different songs at once.
Did not expect that.
As you are playing,
the first time that's happened.
As you're playing, Jocko walks up, hands a slip of paper to you, and says like, "Be here 9:00 tomorrow night. I think I can get like I think that it will be a little bit more to your speed." And like in the pause that it takes you to process that, the cat person is right back into I'm about to throw hands mode, and Jocko just gone.
Yeah, that's typical Jocko. Just sees danger coming, he's gone. He's gone the other way.
So, airship lands. Airship lands. We are in like a junkyard loading dock. Like it is a landfill that like has been converted into like a place where airships and boats land.
Sure.
And I want to ask, and so like you have a challenge in front of you. You've been given an address. You ask around, and it is about like 2 towns over. So I'm going to ask you the question. You've got your skills in front of you. How are you getting to this gig?
Well, I run into somebody at this junkyard shipping dock. I run into somebody that I've known that is around this area because they're kind of there to help musicians without rides.
I like that.
And just an old friend, just somebody that maybe they've got some history, like I don't know, doing some playing around, like they also used to play or something. And
Okay. You used to be in a band. I've rolled. I'm just rolling so many random NPCs and having so much
I
fun with
love
these
it. I
results.
love it.
You were in a band. I'm going to tell you the same deal as Jocko. I'm going to tell you their vibe, and you tell me a factoid
Okay.
about them from your history together.
Okay.
This is Klex 719. Klex, um she is wearing a sleeveless lab coat that is like visibly torn on the bottom. She has the specific goggles that like Kate McKinnon had in Ghostbusters, where they're the big clunky
Yes, I was
almost
picturing
Ghostbusters
that.
goggles.
Right.
Long flowing green mullet hair, and and has like Nintendo Entertainment System Power gloves on, where they've got the buttons, and they're like, that's the vibe. This woman, and you like the thing that you know, and I'll ask you like, what is a detail about your about like, yeah, the thing
Okay.
that you know about Klex is that she is a hell of a keyboard player, because a holographic keyboard
Yes.
appears out of her Nintendo Power gloves.
Yo. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. I'm
I
just in awe. I mean, like,
I love
yeah,
rolling on these tables.
yeah, man.
I got specifically a grumpy scientist who is looking for revenge, so I got to decide what the revenge looks like or who she's wanting
Wow.
revenge on. But like the vibe is immediate.
She's probably Jocko for some reason.
Oh, that's
Would be
good
my
drama.
guess.
That's good drama.
You know, because at this point I run into Klex and I'm like, oh my god, you're like my favorite. How are you?
Oh, you're not. She's like, oh, you're not dead yet.
No. Oh, great. Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah. No. Not yet.
I mean, you lost me. You lost me a guitar pick, but I can learn to forgive.
Yeah, and I also lost almost all of my fingers.
Oh yeah,
Good.
that's
Yeah.
gnarly.
Good thing I had. I had 17, and now I have 5.
Oh damn.
Oh wait, no, 10. No, sorry, I forgot. I had more over here.
Damn. Sucks to be you, huh? And she
You
like throws
know.
you a big smile and like slaps you on the shoulder.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we definitely, we're old
Old touring buddies, yeah.
old touring buddies that were like, you'll never know, you'll never guess who I just ran into, kind of thing.
You get halfway through that sentence and she goes, if it's who I think that you're about to say, you need to take a step back before you say it, because I'm going to get so mad I'm going to start punching the air.
All right. Well, I'm going to take 2 steps back then.
And she quietly nods. She does throw the most vicious haymaker at the sky, at the air that you've ever seen. That, like, had you not taken a second step back, also would have knocked you on your ass.
I'm glad I took 2 steps back. It was Jocko.
So, how's he doing?
Jaw's still falling off.
Well, I mean, that's other. So, I assume still running what remains of his mouth.
Mm-hmm. He somehow managed to get up in that gala as well. That's where I saw him.
Every fucking time he seems to be at a gala. Like, how does he keep making this happen?
I don't know. And he slipped me some sort of note. He's got some other concert or show coming up. I don't know what he's doing.
The look that she has on her face is not a look, is excitement, but not the good kind of excitement. So you're telling me Jocko's going to be in a public place and won't know that I'm coming if I come with you?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you know the exact time and place.
I know the exact time and place, and he won't know that I'm going to be there. The universe, in all of its infinite chaotic wonder, continues to surprise me every single day. Just to cut you off, I'm assuming that you're about to ask me for a ride.
How the hell did you know that?
One, I know you, and 2, I simply know that when the universe is giving opportunity, it is giving opportunity at a cost. It is the grand nature of chaos theory and the exploding atoms of all things. She goes on like this for a very long time.
Yeah. And here I was going to try to.
And they are already like waving you towards her car.
Right. Still talking. She's still talking while we're in the car. Still just
giving you the entire vibe. What do we think her car looks like? What is Klex driving?
Gosh, it. Ooh, you know what? It's one of those. It's a 3-wheeler.
It is a 3-wheeler.
But it's the safe one with the wheel in the back.
Yeah,
like
and
the ones from the 80s.
And which is great because on the front of it is like a giant it's a giant drill, kind of like there's a big giant drill on the front of it. Why? Unclear.
She painted the drill to look like keys.
That's great. That's fun.
It's like you're getting run over by
like a twirling keyboard. And like she starts up the motor, the drill starts going, and like the most intricate and elaborate like multi-layered keyboard solo like starts playing. Like the drill itself plays keyboard music as it runs. So you hop on board. You are driving, or like I think that like we are the road, we get underway, and I'm gonna mark off your first beat because you have gotten to the show. Which means that like subsequent rolls to like make your other objectives happen are going to be a little bit more difficult. But like you're getting closer to like having that one great night out. You get to the bar, or you get to the venue. Let's find out what this venue looks like. 16. Okay, great, good. You pull up, you can see the place that Jocko has recommended, and it is the most like Jocko-esque thing imaginable. And I'm gonna ask you which of these aesthetics feels more like the vibe.
Okay.
Is it a straight up 50s sci-fi UFO? Or is it the Fortress of Solitude from the 70s Superman film where it's all giant crystals? Because the prompt here is extraterrestrial restaurant, which is an immaculate prompt. Which of these two extraterrestrial restaurants are you arriving at?
It's the 50s flying saucer, man.
It is like buried half into a mountain. There's outdoor dining and that there's tables underneath it. Some of those tables are like taken from the inside of the saucer. So they're like sleek silver that has been just rusted over. There is like green fumes pumping out of a chimney, like a chimney that has been sort of dug into the mountain a little bit. What's another detail about this extraterrestrial restaurant as we pull up on it?
It's, even though it's like really well done, it's noticeably fake and kitschy.
Oh, that's great. I like that.
Like the green smoke coming out always has a little like hiss to it.
Sure.
And it's like there was once, and then we find out that this is a reconstruction of an actual ancient crashed alien location, alien site that that's where a lot of the alien jerky comes from.
That's great.
I don't know if we can use that.
No, we're fully. There's alien jerky. Didn't say what it's made of, just that it's from aliens.
It's alien jerky. But this diner is like, and then it serves. They somehow managed to find an old menu from like a fast food joint.
Yeah.
From the 20th century, like In-N-Out or something.
You and Klex pull up. Klex hops off and is like, I'm going to go mingle and also plot my revenge. You go talk to whoever's running this place, make sure that we're on the card, and then we'll meet up again later.
All right. Well, sounds good. Let me go find him.
She sneaks off. You poke around a little bit. Give me I'm trying to decide. Yeah, give me a roll. Give me a roll. I think this is a 2d6 roll. You can argue if you want to use one of your tags here to see if you can like spot the person running it and sort of what their initial reaction to you is.
Okay. And remind me, what are my tags again?
You've got quiet, you've got partier, you've got your music device, sunglasses, tech wizardry, and you're a great driver.
Okay. Ooh. Oh gosh. Okay. Let me roll. Okay. Yeah. Got a 6. And another 6? Get out of here.
I mean, that's making up for the 3 ones earlier.
Yeah, 2 6s.
This is a 12 plus. This is a 10 plus, so you get exactly what you want. I have rolled a random mutant weirdo, and I think you get something extra here, and I'm gonna ask how you ask how Tron feels about this.
Okay.
You get recognized. The owner of this restaurant like comes you see the owner of this restaurant appears to be a child in a restored old We Want to Believe t-shirt with a picture of an alien on it, floating on a platform that he is powering with his gigantic oversized psychic brain.
This is the owner of the restaurant.
Yeah. Like a 13-year-old child in a t-shirt with a giant brain is like floating over to you on a disc.
Okay. And they recognized me
because I'm sorry. Are you Tron Brent Whistle?
Yeah, actually, I am. How do you know? How do you know who I am?
Let me ask you this. Like, what is a show? What is a concert? A specific concert that Tron almost doesn't remember performing at?
Oh, okay, great. There was a New Year's gala on one of those steampunk Zeppelins.
Yep.
It was a New Year's gala for a corporation.
Yeah.
That is still, kind of doing its thing. It's part of like the whoever's building the the Super Nintendo Power Glove holograms.
Love that.
So whatever that corporation was, and it was particularly one of those rough nights where Tron didn't have too much to eat because they weren't really serving anything he liked.
Yeah,
and he just decided to drink, and maybe got a little mouthy, maybe got a little lippy with the staff, and maybe that person, the owner of this restaurant, was there that night because it was a restaurant owners gala.
That feels
presented by Above World Corps, the makers of your Power
Sky Pod Incorporated present like the Association of Restaurant Owners New Year's gala.
Yes.
Comes up like floats up and like mentions like, I remember months ago or years like I was invited to this event, and like I remember watching you tell off a bunch of the snootiest, meanest, most obnoxious like chefs that I've ever chefs and restaurateurs that I've ever encountered.
Okay. Phew. Okay, so it wasn't me swearing at people that didn't deserve it then. Okay, good.
No, I like he is so giddy. Like he's like, and I think like his brain glows pink for a moment, like glows neon.
Right.
And like you get to see like a 3D visual of like bits and pieces of these like restaurateurs being like, no. The real thing is like we're reinventing the experience. Like people need to come to us, and like they're being so dismissive towards people that are like trying to get things to eat or trying to like enjoy the experience. And like you tell them off. Like, we just have the shot of you just telling them off, and like
That's
the kid is
amazing.
just giggling, and he's like this. It was honestly like I was so miserable at that party, and like here that was the only moment that I've held on to in my brain, and my brain holds on to a lot of things. So like that's a pretty special
Clearly.
thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I was for sure thought you were going to say it was from a different New Year's gala, which we won't get into, but
No. This one was one for the books. This was grateful. My name is Brain Pan. I run this. I run the restaurant.
Pleasure. Tron, nice to meet you.
It's so nice to have you here. Like, let me ask you. Like, do you want a table? Like, what are you doing here today?
Well, we were told that we had a gig. We were playing here at some point. I don't know if you have any info on that. Yeah.
I think like he pauses for a moment. And he like looks around. And he's like, "Well, I mean, on the books," and says this like very loudly. We technically are business as usual. We don't actually accept private parties. And like as he's saying that, his brain is flashing pink, and you're seeing all the people at the outdoor tables go, "On the books, we don't accept outdoor we don't accept parties. We don't book events." And like leans forward and says like, "Well, but between you and me, like, yeah, there's a little shindig happening later. Like, were you told who invited you?" And I think roll here. I'm gonna hack the rules here for a second, because normally you would roll 3d6 and take the lowest result to accomplish this beat and get booked. But because you did well earlier, and also because of the positioning of this character already knowing you, just give me a flat 2d6 roll, or if you want to add something to it to like get this, to like close the deal, as he's like, "Who do you know? Like, who told you to come perform tonight?"
All right, I got a 6 and a 4.
That is another complete success. That's incredible.
Because I was thinking, I was thinking of maybe Klex coming and interrupting.
That's great,
and not being able to finish that.
Give me
not being able to answer that right now.
Give me a roll. Give me one more roll and take the 2 lowest results.
Okay. Got a 1.
So that is that's 6 and a 1. So that's a 7. So you get what you want with a complication. So you complete the beat. You've gotten booked, but the complication. Okay, so good news and bad news. Good news. We've got space for you. We can find. I will find space on the card for Tron Brent Whistle. Do not worry about that. The bad news is we maybe already promised a spot. Like, we maybe already promised the gig to someone else, and like we'll have to kind of figure out if this is going to be a battle of the bands or like a duet show or what's going on. We kind of already promised this gig to someone.
All right. Well, I just want to play, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay, great.
I'm flexible.
Let's introduce you to your I guess stage partner, and we'll kind of go from there. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Great. Your stomach sinks, your heart drops the second that you get backstage. Like, they've set you up, you're going on stage in a moment. Like, this is going to be a pretty immediate thing, and this is going to be a pretty immediate engaging of your next beat. What this looks like in this moment is you are greeted by sort of it's a ghost, but it's like a ghost. Like, imagine a ghost that looked like it was like a digital hologram that is like green, night visiony, flickering, and is angrily like ranting at really a server who's been made like a stagehand for this party about like, no, you need to understand this is so important that you understand this, because like, a show is not just a show. Every show is an opportunity for me to make my masterpiece. And like even before you turn the corner and see this ghost, you recognize this ranting as another musician that you have played with before. This is Brenton Tarulian. Brenton Tarulian, the 26th. He is,
of course he's ranting and raving about the quality of everything.
He is an arts rocker. Like he is like an artsy rocker who like
The 26th.
he is a rock and roll nepo baby who like his family has a curse on it that he cannot die until he plays the perfect song, which is why he has been wandering a ghost for the last 200 years.
Well, good thing I got a couple of good songs up in my repertoire.
He is
maybe he'll find the perfect song tonight.
When is the last time you encountered Brenton? Like, what is a thing that you know about this ghost, this person?
Like the last time I saw him, he was doing the same damn thing, but he was complaining to our teacher.
Oh, that's great. And it's the same complaint. Like you almost can mouth it quietly under your breath. He stops mid-sentence when he sees you and Klex walk in, gives you the full look up and down. I pray that you're here working as servers or stagehands to improve the performance of these people. I pray that's why you're standing in front of me right now.
Keep praying. Try again. We're here to play.
He flickers for a moment. So, cool. It's always great to have like an opener.
Or musicians to play alongside you.
He is now flickering even more erratically. It's fine. Every show is a masterpiece. Every show is it's the struggles that they put you through that make your art what it is.
Right, of course. Of course. Still searching for that perfect song, I see.
I have a mission. It was appointed to me by my father and his mother before him, and both of his fathers before him. It is 25 generations of Brenton Tarulians have created the perfect song, and I will continue in that legacy.
Yeah. Mission is a interesting way to pronounce it.
I see that you are as quick-witted as ever.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Brenton.
You're welcome. Now listen.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure.
And he kind of like waves you around. Like, I think you're on stage. The curtain is there. The curtain, which is just like the back of the restaurant, the back of the flying saucer. He kind of waves at it. Great. So if you just want to find some spots in the back to like not get in my way for the show, that would be fantastic.
I would love to. I'll just be in the back as usual.
All right. Which means that it is time to like actually, I think like playing the gig. This is going to be a little bit of an opposed thing. So like, I'm not necessarily going to roll, but there is in fact, special rules for like playing a song and playing a song in a battle against someone else, which I think is precisely what is happening here. Because
it could like turn into that.
Yeah. I think it turns into that almost immediately. Cause I think that Brenton turns it into that. In fact, I'm going to roll a D20. Okay, give me a second.
Okay.
Give me a second, because this is such a funny thing to roll randomly, and also it's such a perfect thing for this person to do.
Oh, I'm excited.
He starts. The stage comes up. You know, he introduces himself. He signals over to Klex. He signals over to you. Starts playing, and there is this. You hear, and like you recognize what is happening immediately when you hear this incredibly like delicate multi-part piano symphony that he's kind of conjuring with like radioactive ghost magic. You look over, you hear this, and you know what is about to happen because you've watched him play this song before. You look over to Klex just in time to see Klex disappear. You still hear the music that she's playing. She's still there, but he has, and I quote, played a song so subtle it will make your band invisible while playing. People will hear it, but not be able to tell where it's coming from. He has quite literally made you invisible on stage. I cannot tell you how happy I am to have rolled that result at this point. So he has literally made you invisible. How do you react in this musical battle?
Well, I honestly, at first, I think noticing that Klex has disappeared, sigh of relief. Just that nice, famous Tron Brent whistle sigh of relief. Just like, okay, I guess that's how it's going to be. And at first, not bothered. But then eventually the other tempo's got to come out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. And it's only directed at Brenton.
Great. Give me a D6. You are playing a song, and this is going to be a measure of how well you play it from a scale from Sid Vicious 1 to David Gilmour 6.
Okay.
I love the writing in this game. I really love everything about this game so much.
All right, we're going in 6. Here we go. 2.
2. A 2 to 3 means you played it and get a lesser effect than what you were expecting. I think you play it well enough, it like throws him off and like disrupts the music. You're now both visible on stage together.
Boom.
Like you've counteracted the music, but like he's still playing, which means I'm gonna roll a d20 and see what his next move is. His next move is he plays like this sort of like very like he kind of starts like whisper singing into the microphone. And immediately people also start whisper singing. I watched last weekend, I saw Springsteen in concert, and when he played I'm on Fire, there's this incredible moment where like he plays it and like he plays it so quietly and sort of held back that like you really hear the stadium like sing around him.
Wow.
It was such a cool moment. It's such a cool moment. And like, it's not as cool here because it's really just, he's like making people talk shit about you on stage. He has played a fabled song that makes small creatures follow you and obey simple commands. And the commands here are just complain about Tron. As to how well he plays it, there is like, people are, I'm going to say it was a partial effect. It was a 3. So like he's gotten people to like, he is like, they're not fully turned against you, but like all eyes are on how you are performing and are hypercritical about like the next song that you play.
Man. Well, I mean, at first it's not really bothersome, right? Because I'm just whatever, easy going. But then it starts to become oddly specific. Because Brenton knows a little bit of history. He's got
digs. He's got specific digs that he can put into his music to like get under your skin.
Yeah. So that's kind of when I start to pull out the that metronomic hypnotization, where it's like I just try to lull the crowd. It's like it's too much. It's too much. So I'm just like, okay, we're gonna quiet this crowd down. So we're having like a battle of mind control via music.
I mean, what is a battle of the bands if not on some level competitive mind control via music?
That's true. Yeah. In my initial that 2-tempo technique didn't work because he's like a ghost. Yeah. Just didn't really do much to him. And he doesn't have a heart, so I can't control him. So that's useless.
But you've got those other songs. You can make all these people feel like your old friends. You can shut off the lights to just fuck with him. You had, what was the third one you rolled? I remember it was, you could control heart rate. You can make people feel like your old friends. You can shut off the lights. Like what's the song here?
At this point, we go for just that old friend feeling.
Yeah. Okay.
To try to turn the crowd back in our favor, because honestly, like when the heckling from the crowd got a little out of control, it started to turn towards him as well.
I like that.
So he kind of needed a little, I noticed he didn't want to admit it, but I noticed that he was like kind of needed a little bit of help, on stage. So I was like, all right, I'll see what this will do.
Give me a D6.
All right. Where did my thing go? There it is. 3.
The people are hype now. Like the people are hype, and they're hype enough that I'm gonna like, I think he's losing control. it's you haven't sealed the deal yet, and I'm going to call for one final roll to like take control of the show. This is specifically going to be you're going to roll 2d6 here. You can add a tag if you would like, but either way, but no matter what, you're gonna subtract 1 from this result because you're trying to solve your third beat.
Okay, so I got a 5 and a 6. So
That's a 10. That's a perfect success. What does it look like when you like enter into the moment and thoroughly win the crowd over?
Oh man, it's just you can tell that like the chatter has stopped, the eating has stopped, and they're just quiet, and they're watching, but not in like this creepy zombie way. They're like, I like this.
And I think like there's a moment that occurs here that I think is both funny and kind of like wonderful as this beat gets checked off. You're playing, and like as you're playing, the crowd is like standing up and like they are like in that moment. And in front of you, Brenton starts to fade away. And he's furious. Like it is not a sense of accomplishment. It is a sense of like, this cannot be my mat. This cannot be this. I will not allow it. And he's like slowly, he fades away, having accomplished his mission in a way specifically that will piss him off for an eternity.
And it was unintentional. And Tron's like, oh shit, I didn't think it was that good. All right.
I mean, it was as like that, which I think is the funniest part. It was as good as Brenton will ever be.
Right.
So the concert ends. Everything goes phenomenally, and you have one final challenge left. Where are you finding something to eat?
Oh my gosh, somewhere that's just got a nice, easy menu. I don't want any crazy wastelander cuisine. Pho is too heavy.
I think Brain Pan like offers you, like hands you the menu, but like it's I mean, well, let me ask you. Like, I think Brain Pan offers you a menu, but it's like burgers and fries. Like it is like, is that the vibe, or are you looking for something else?
Man, it would be hard to leave without getting at least something, but I don't think it's almost like a little bit of food for them, because we got a long drive, and there is a place that I want to go to. There was like this really cool, like a barbecue joint, like Apocalypse Barbecue. And I mean, I could maybe take some fries or something and go.
Klex, you are alone, or you're not alone, but like Klex is like asleep in the back seat of this 3-wheeler. She has her feet fully up on the driver's seat, and like you are alone in this 3-wheeler with this keyboard playing drill. Give me a roll, subtract 2 from it, but because you're a good driver, roll me 3d6 and take the highest 2 results.
All right. 2 and a 4.
6. Okay. You get there. You get to the restaurant, and like you get there just as like it is a gigantic Flintstones-ish monster rib. And you get there just as they are like extinguishing the fire. You have failed to make it in time, and the restaurant is closing. What do you do to try and get them to like make an exception?
Oh, that is so frustrating. I got this pretty cool bass guitar. You guys want to hear me play?
Roll me a d6.
I got a 3.
3. I think they listen to you play. You convince them to stay open. Like a 3 is a partial. You get part of what you want, and I think this is less of a you make them feel like old friends, or less of a you control their heartbeat, but more of a like you wow them enough to like
Yes.
give like
Yeah.
at least
Right.
give you some of what I like, some of the like leftover crew meal is the only way to describe it.
Right.
Like
Right.
they're
Yeah.
like packing up and like
yeah.
bagging things, and they're like, all right, we got a couple
Yeah.
extra ribs that we can spare. Like we got a little
Right.
extra brisket.
Some, like a mistaken, like a messed up order,
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, definitely, Tron's not playing to manipulate at this point. He's just like playing to impress. He's just like, I just want some food.
And so they're like, yeah, we got a steak that somebody didn't come and pick up from their takeout order. They probably, I don't know, got murdered by bandits or something. You know how it is out here.
It was quite dangerous on the way here. I was told not to walk here.
He hands you so they hand you a bag, and the last thing that we see is Tron eating this like it's like a steak. It's a steak and potatoes. Like eating this alone. It is late at night. Klex is still asleep. You hear quietly on the wind Brenton Taruli in the 26th cursing your name. We see briefly at a table Jocko like drink in hand. It wasn't that good of a show.
Oh, come on, man. How did you even get here?
And that is game. This was great. Thank you so much for playing this with me.
Dude, that was so much fun.
What was your favorite moment from play?
Oh man. The steampunk Zeppelin.
That
just
was so
picturing that, like, just the idea that like there's a company out there that's running these Zeppelins that like you go float around the wasteland, and I don't know. It's such a cool like retro future kind of idea.
It hit me immediately. I really love. I mean, and and it's again, it comes back to Fallout, but like that retro futurist kind of aesthetic, like I fall in love with every single time.
Yeah,
and like I loved the Battle of the Bands so much, and like just getting to like really like watch the music and magic blur together of like competing with this guy, and then like the added like punchline of like, yeah, this is probably the best show he's ever going to play. Just so perfect.
It really was.
I want to add one thing, because I realize I can't leave this Chekhov's gun unfired, which is that like we get a little post credits of like the concert has wrapped. You're getting the car ready. We flash back inside, and Jocko, as he utters, like, it wasn't that good of a show. We freeze frame as, like, from, like, just off screen, we see Klax's Nintendo Power Glove fist just flying haymaker style right before it makes contact with the jaw. That's the freeze frame, and that's the end of the story.
Because she's just been waiting. Like,
she's been lying
her revenge was simple. The revenge was a very petty, simple thing. It was like Jocko gave her a Charlie horse, punched her, and she's been trying to like,
I'm gonna punch him back.
Sucker punch him.
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna get him back.
Sucker punch you. You don't know when it's coming, but I'm gonna punch you so hard.
I'm gonna punch your jaw off. Is the only way to describe it.
And then he's like, "Well, if it's off already, you can't punch it."
This was so much fun. Thank you so much for playing it with me. This was amazing.
This was great. I loved it. That was so much. Yeah, genuinely, I did not know what to expect, and man, that was a lot of fun.
I'm so happy. So real quick before we wrap things up, where can people find you and your work online?
Oh my goodness. Well, I should have looked up that website.
Even if it kills me podcast.com.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Even if it kills me. Yeah. The podcast is at evenifitKillsMePodcast.com. And I don't know if you want to include this, but I have a like my own YouTube channel that I've had for sure, like 16, 17 years.
Oh my God.
It's literally just youtube.com/piano fight.
Incredible.
And it's just got old footage of the bands when I was out on the road 20 years ago. I go live every once in a while when I'm gaming. I don't really talk a lot when I'm gaming, but it's just got a lot of random videos. It's like 1,000+ videos on there. I've been doing it forever.
I love. I mean, given that I've been running this podcast for 9 years, but there's nothing that I love more than like long running I just think it's I think it's such a beautiful like time capsule when we have these things for so long that you're able to be like, oh yeah, that was a moment in time from a decade ago, and I remember like there's magic in that, really truly.
It really is. It's such a trip to see some of those videos, and they say, you know, uploaded 15 years ago. You're like, what?
You look at it and you're like, where did that time go?
Yeah.
Like I'm cutting myself off before I get too far in my field.
Right.
This was magnificent.
But yeah, that's pretty much. I can't think of any other spots online. I mean, Piano Fights. You follow like that on Instagram. That's me.
This was so much fun. Thank you so much for this. And for now, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show. Take it, future me. Thanks, past me, and thanks again to Aaron for coming on to the show. That game was magnificent. That was an incredible experience. I loved getting to play this game and getting to like really truly show someone the magic of role-playing games really in real time. That's my favorite thing in this entire world, and I'm really, really happy that we got to share that experience live on mic here. This episode was something special. Be sure to check out Even If It Kills Me at evenifitKillsMePodcast.com. I really think it's a great podcast. I think that the stories on it are really, really wonderful and relatable and fun, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. And be sure to pick up your own copy of Marvelous Mutations and Merry Musicians at WenDIY, that's WENDIY.itch.io, or check the show notes for more information. And be sure to follow Aaron on social media at Piano Fight.
You can also find us on pretty much whichever social media you prefer at Party of One Pod or Jeff Stormer, depending.
And if you enjoy the show and you want to support it, there's a lot of different ways you can do that. Subscribe to our newsletter at buttondown.email/partyofonepodcast and join our Discord community at bit.ly/partyofonediscord. You can support us financially at patreon.com/JeffStormer or ko-fi.com/JeffStormer. You can give us a nice iTunes review, shout us out to a friend, give us some love on social media. You can buy some Party of One merch at bit.ly/partyofonemerch. Or if you're looking for more great podcast content, you can check out All My Fantasy Children, which is a character creation, storytelling, and world building podcast that I make with my best friend in the world, Aaron Catano Saez. We take a listener submitted prompt and spin it into an original fantasy character, populating a shared universe one story at a time. You can also check out Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast, which is an actual play about a heartless witch, a cozy house, and the many people making their homes inside. Both of those you can find wherever you get your podcasts. Party of One is, as always, produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. Music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Mega Rain featuring the D&D Sluggers, and the Party of One logo is by Evan Rowland. If you'd like to inquire about advertising rates, coming on the show as a guest, or about press coverage of the show, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. And unless I am mistaken, that is all we do here. So until next time, thank you so much for listening. Remember to fight the forces of fascism every single day. Remember that self-love and self-care are radical and defiant acts of resistance. And as always, party on, everybody.